Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tacoma Public Schools acknowledges that we are on the traditional, ancestral, and historical lands of the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the Puyallup Tribe. This acknowledgement serves as a first step in honoring our nearest tribal neighbors and partners who have inhabited this region since time immemorial, and to whom we give thanks for allowing us passage to their lands. We shall intentionally create inclusive and respectful partnerships that honor indigenous cultures, histories, identities, and socio-political realities. General Counsel, could you please call the roll?
Yes. President Strozier?
Here.
Vice President McElroy?
Here.
Director Bonbright?
Here.
Director Keating?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Move forward to item number 5, adoption of the agenda.
Move the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments, questions, concerns about it? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And hearing none. Agenda item number 6, recognition of staff, students, and community. Item 6.1, state holidays and civic observances.
Yes, this month of April, we celebrate 2 different days. We've got Dolores Hort today, which is a celebration of a woman who was a dedicated farm worker and articulated for farm workers' rights. She co-founded the United Farm Workers and helped improve conditions for thousands of laborers. The day recognizes her lifelong dedication to fairness, equality, and empowering people to speak up for their rights. And that's on April 10th. On April 16th, we also recognize Mother Joseph Day. Washington State celebrates Mother Joseph Day to honor her role in building hospitals, schools, and orphanages in the Pacific Northwest. She was a pioneer and leader who helped care for people in need during the 1800s. This day recognizes her compassion, courage, and lasting impact on the communities across the region.
Thank you. Agenda item 6.2, recognition of, forgive me if I don't say your name correctly, teach me if I say it wrong, but Tavari Lee from Lincoln High School, the WIAA 3A Boys State Wrestling Champion in the 132-pound weight class.
Mr. President, I'm going to ask Principal Carl Hoseth up to the podium to do some recognitions. Some may say I'm a little biased to this class of student representation, and so I don't want to go overboard tonight. So, Principal Hoseth, will you kindly recognize, I think, a couple of Abes tonight?
Yes, thank you. I am thrilled to be back to recognize 2 state champions from our wrestling team, and it is the largest classification in the state, the 3A division, so it is very difficult to become a state champ. So we'll start with Tavar Lee. Tavar Lee is a junior at Lincoln High School and led the Lincoln wrestling team to back-to-back league titles and back-to-back regional titles, and 2 years in a row, the 3rd place finish in state, which really is second, because second in state is Hermiston, Oregon, who is competing with the state of Washington. So 2 years in a row, we're in that spot. For Tavar, in 24-25, he finished the season with a record of 48-1. He won every tournament he entered, which was 6 tournaments in the regular season. He also finished undefeated in league to become the 25 league champion. He went on to claim the 25 132-pound district champion. And at MAC Classic in the Tacoma Dome, Tavar won the 2025 state wrestling championship at 132 pounds. Tavar will be a senior next year and is looking forward to defending his state title. He is a 3-time league champion, 2-time regional champion, 3-time state participant, 3-time placer, and a state champion. He has a high school career record of 142-9 and holds the school record for wins in a season with 50. Put your hands together for Tavar Lee.
out, and does he want to say something?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Just thank you for this opportunity. That's it.
Short and sweet. Sounds like another Abe we know. Come on up.
And if he has any family members that want to join.
Thank you so much. Family, come on up.
I knew it. I saw that whole slide.
Yeah.
And you might recognize Zeta Lee, who was here last year as the state champion. Want me just to go to the next one?
Go right into it.
Okay. We have one more to recognize. Brad Amsden, who is a senior at Lincoln High School. He is a 4-year varsity letterman and team captain. In his 4-year tenure, he led the wrestling team to 4 league titles, 2 regional titles, and again, 2 third-place finishes in state, which we're considering second in state. In 24-25, in his final year at Lincoln, he finished the wrestling season with a 47-6 record, including the championship of 3 tournaments during the regular season. He was co-PCL champion, district champion, and then after that, the following week at the MAC Classic in the Tacoma Dome, Bradley won the 3A State Wrestling Championship at 285 pounds. Bradley only started wrestling his freshman year, and he didn't make it to state that year, but because of his hard work and dedication, he ended up finishing his wrestling career as a 2-time PCL champion, 2-time district champion, 2-time state participant, and 2-time state placer. A state champion last month in the Tacoma Dome with a career record of 121-34. And another little interesting tidbit, he was also a member of the league championship Lincoln football team and was voted the 25 PCL Offensive Lineman of the Year, the 25 News Tribune All-Area Team, and a 2025 First Team All-State Offensive Lineman. Bradley plans to attend a 4-year college and wrestle and play football. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Brad Amsden.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Brad,
Come up for a picture.
doesn't your mom work at Downing?
Oh, yeah, my mom works at Downing Elementary. She's a teacher.
There you go. Come on up, family.
This was one of my favorite pictures that I took. It was right after Brad found out he was going to go to the championship match after he won in the semifinal.
He gets attention. You're the winner. Do you want them to take a picture on your phone? They'll do it. Oh, thank you.
All right, so I'm taking lunch? Okay, Carl, throw it in there. All right, one more.
Mr. President, this is like a celebration night. This is celebration night. So keep the good energy, you notice that we bring in some ringers tonight. First, Principal Carl Hoseth with his announcer voice. I'm going to step up my game tonight. I'm going to introduce Miss Amanda Scott Thomas.
Thank you, Deputy Garcia. Superintendent Garcia,
Superintendent Santorno.
leave me alone. All right. You throw me off with these introductions. I was going to say, I think maybe Carl has to come back and start doing our Shining Star, because I don't think I've heard introductions with as much gusto, is that the word? You know what it means. All right. But I am the Oprah of Tacoma. Better known as Tacopra, and we are here celebrating. April is National Volunteer Month, and we want to recognize some community volunteers. Most of you know that I'm here once a month, and we do a Shining Star volunteer. We get lots of nominations throughout the school year, and we can't recognize everybody, so we thought we would take the opportunity in April to recognize some of our honorable mentions. So these folks have been nominated. And they do work in our district, support students and families, and so we wanted just to acknowledge them for National Volunteer Month. Again, I am Tacopra, and I wish I had Oprah money because you would all be getting cars tonight. But tonight you will be getting a plaque, and so we're going to call up some individuals that have been nominated just to say thank you. You are seen. We appreciate you, and we appreciate what you do for our district, for our families, for our schools, and how you support student success. And we just want to acknowledge you and give you your flowers. Is that okay? All right. So the first person that I'm going to call up, who's been nominated twice, she's one of ours, but she's also a very well-known community volunteer, and it is Alita Angel Davis. And Angel by day works for Tacoma Public Schools in our facilities department. Is it facilities? Planning and construction department. So she does great work there. But she comes from a family of service, and they have an organization, a nonprofit called Doing It Does It. She does a lot with the business community, but she brings those wealth of resources to Tacoma Public Schools outside of her workday. So we just want to say thank you.
Why don't we have everybody line up too, and then we'll take a
Yes,
picture.
after
You can say a few words, and then we'll
Oh,
give you the
I just want to say thank you, and thank you to the community, because I love the 253s he got on my earrings, and to my family, but that's what we were born to do, is serve our community.
And we're going to get a picture after. Is there anybody here that's representing New Community Church? New Community Church? Okay. We have their plaque. We just want to thank New Community Church. I'll make sure to give that to them. Is there a Mars Henderson here? Mars Henderson? He works and does a dad's program at Hunt Elementary School. He's been featured on Tacoma Public Schools' Facebook page, so you can look up his name and see a video on him. He's done some excellent work in the district, and we want to recognize him. And let's give a hand for Mars Henderson. Do we have a representative from Helen B. Stafford PTA? Yay! They were nominated for all of their work at Stafford Elementary School, and the staff and the community wanted to thank you for what you do, recognize you for serving students and families. So here you go. You want to say your name?
Hello, everyone. My name is Whitney Mason. I am the president of Stafford Elementary's PTA. We just got here. We're newly chartered as of December, and so it was a lot of hard work. And so I'm going to definitely make sure that they see this, because it wasn't just me. It was a team of us, parents and community members, who came together to make sure that Stafford had a PTA that was official and structured with the Washington State PTA. So thank you.
Is there anyone here representing Bose PTA? Bose? All right, we'll make sure we'll give that to them. Let's give a hand to Bose. Is there anyone here from the Whittier PTA? Whittier? Yay! And you also were nominated for all of your hard work. We appreciate what you do, and this is a thank you from your school community. There you go. You can have words.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right. And last but not least, this is one of the groups that I've worked with throughout the years doing great work for community, not just our school community, but the greater Tacoma community. And they started their own special needs PTA. So can I get representatives from the special needs PTA to come up? We appreciate you, want to say thank you for what you do, filling a niche in our community and really serving a special population of students that really need you. And we appreciate you for being there.
Thank you. It's actually Special Education PTA. We changed our name several years ago. So, Special Education PTA.
Special education, okay,
Yes.
I got you. I'm
So we serve the whole entire district. So other PTAs that are here, we would love for you guys to know about us. And if you have families that are in need of information or learning, please send them our way. Board, thank you. We've created a wonderful bridge with you guys, and I see further growth, and I want to thank you for that opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to have you all line up together and take a photo.
You not coming, Amanda?
Huh?
You not coming?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Ready? And 1, 2, 3. Take a few.
All right. Thank you, Superintendent Garcia.
Thank you, Miss Amanda Scott Thomas. Board of Directors, we are having a little bit of audio technical difficulties tonight, so I'm going to ask you to speak up very loud for everyone to hear, okay?
Is that for President Stroger?
For all of us.
Oh, okay.
Just all of us tonight. All of us.
All right, agenda item 6.5.
Spicy tonight.
Mr. Zeke Edmond tonight is going to close us out with the celebration. Mr. Edmond is known for his celebration attitude.
Yes, soft-spoken. All right, so I will use my lunchroom principal voice. Thank you for joining us tonight. I am here to recognize our new and a few returning National Board certified teachers that have recently just passed. Just as a reminder, our National Board is a certificate that was created by teachers for teachers. These folks choose or volunteer to go down this road to improve their practice on behalf of our youth. And they do a lot of work, a lot of lesson review, unit, reflection, writing, videotaping. Whether they have a hair day better than mine or not, they put the time in to really think through their practice so that they can bring a little more for our kids every day. And we have a ton of appreciation and respect. We also, because we do like to compete, similar to our wrestlers, our volunteers, we might be one of the larger districts as far as number of National Board teachers in Washington. We are above the average. And so tonight we have 10 newly certified National Board teachers to add to our 241 currently serving. So if you are here this evening and you hear your name, please come on down. We'll line you up. Janelle Gard, Anastasia Johnson, Suzanne Lamb, Daniel Udell, Alyssa Urish, Andrew Vo, Micah West, Matthew Lonsdale, Lori Moore, Don Weber. And then for these three folks, they were crazy enough not to just do this once, but multiple times. So renewing their National Board certification, Jana Fullerton, Kristen Mitchell, and Susan Miller. It is an honor to recognize you this evening. Thank you for joining us. Can we get a round of applause for our new National Board teachers? All right, come on down.
Jenna, would you like to join us up here and get a picture, please? I keep on leaning into the mic and knowing it doesn't do any good. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Anybody have any comments they want to share about 7.1? Okay.
7.1?
I mean, I'm sorry,
Oh, wait a minute.
6.5? 7.1. Yeah, no. Okay. All right, we're going to move forward to agenda item 7, superintendent's report. Item 7.1, student representatives report to the board. Rock, paper, scissors. Oh, one day I'm going to get it.
Good evening. I'm Anna Palaki. I'm from Stadium High School. And in the past month, we've had a lot of school-wide events. We hosted our annual spring formal, or TOLO, in our cafeteria, and it's a newer space. We usually do it in our gym, and so it was a good change to have a new location. We also held our multicultural assembly, which was last week, and we were fortunate to have Dr. Leon there to speak about his culture, and it was great place just to hear about our diversity in our school. And then last week we also had the opening night of our spring show, Chicago, and it's been going on last week and this week, and tomorrow's our closing night. And it's just so great to see other students share what they're passionate about. And it's great to have the community go out, as we've had sold-out shows for pretty much every night, so it's really amazing to see that. And then this week at our school, we've had a food drive where we're just trying to collect as much food as we can for our community. And then at the end of the week, we'll count it up and we'll give it to the local food pantry. Thank you.
Are you playing gas pitch this year?
I'm doing track and field.
Fantastic.
Did his work? Or should I
Just yell
All
at us.
looks tonight.
Okay. I'm Amelia Constantine. I'm representing SODA. There's not much to note right now since we just started our first week of spring break. But we've been working on our spring musical, Legally Blonde.
Can you turn your microphone on, please?
Is it working? Hello, hello, hello.
We just can't hear it.
We can't hear it, but he can. So just use it
Oh, I see.
for the recording.
I see. I like it. But yeah, there's not really much else to note as I'm aware of right now.
Thank you. Agenda item number 8, staff report to the board. I don't see one here. Agenda item number 9, members of the public wishing to address the board. General Counsel, do we have any cards today?
We have 4.
Okay. School board members encourage public participation. Your civil input is appreciated. Board members will not respond to your comments during the meeting. The superintendent or designee will follow up with you after the meeting if action is needed. Instead of speaking at a meeting, you may also send an email to the board at board@tacoma.k12.wa.us. Please contact the board office in advance of the meeting for disability accommodations. Under Board Policy 1430, Public Comment, the board president may terminate an individual's comments when the allotted time has passed and may interrupt the speaker to require the same standard of civility that the board imposes on itself. Examples of uncivil comments include comments that are libelous or slanderous under a legal standard, are unwarranted invasion of privacy, are obscene or indecent pursuant to the Federal Communications Act or any rule or regulation of the Federal Communications Commission, violate school district policy or procedure related to harassment, intimidation, bullying, or discrimination, incite an unlawful act on school premises or violate a lawful school regulation, or create a material and substantial disruption of the orderly operation of the board meeting. The board as a whole has the final decision in determining the appropriateness of all such rulings and can maintain order by removing those who are disruptive. However, the board recognizes the distinction between uncivil discourse, which it will not tolerate, and comments about the board, district, and/or staff that are negative yet still civil in nature. The board will exercise its authority to maintain order in a content-neutral manner. Option number 1, verbal comment. The general counsel will call your name when it's your turn to address the school board. Please speak into the microphone. You may have up to 3 minutes to share your comments, or if there are a large number of speakers, time may be limited at the president's discretion. Option number 2 is written comment. You could send in a written comment to the email that I read earlier, but the folks here will be speaking verbally. So, first card.
All right, our first speaker tonight will be Katie Callahan, followed by Adrian Dyer.
All right, hi everyone. My name is Katie Callahan. I'm a parent of 2 kids in Tacoma Public Schools, and I'm also a member of the board of directors of the Tacoma Special Education PTA. Every year, we open our Bridge the Gap Grant Fund application, and this grant is for general education teachers, special education teachers, ESPs, specialists like occupational therapists, speech pathologists, physical therapists. It's also open to parents and community members, and they could submit a grant application for supplies that support the academic enrichment of special education students in Tacoma, both inside and outside of the classroom. I'm so excited to share that this spring, we will be granting $4,000 in funding requests to help bridge the gap when budget constraints fall short. Grant recipients will be notified in the next few weeks, and we plan to fund over $1,500 worth of adaptive technology and software, over $1,000 worth of sensory supplies, and we're going to be providing the district's community-based transition program with more than $1,000 to support their students in learning activities of daily living as they transition out of public education. So our special education PTA, we are district-wide. We serve all special education students in Tacoma, and we're really proud to be able to offer this grant and fund these requests. So thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Adrian Dyer, followed by Catherine Young.
Hello, can you hear me? My name is Adrian Dyer, and I have nothing written down, but I'm going to try my best to describe the situation. I'm a senior representing Tacoma School of the Arts in an issue about us not being able to wear honor cords or regalia at our graduation. It started as a conversation with our counselor where she told us that we weren't going to be able to wear honor cords representing our clubs and organizations at graduation, and it escalated to a conversation with our co-directors about the reasoning, because it was originally presented as an issue of the students who weren't getting cords were going to feel left out. I started a petition at SOTA among the seniors. 87 responded, which is the majority of the senior class, 106, and 100% of the answers said yes, we should be able to wear honor cords, including the students who wouldn't be getting them. They said that they wouldn't feel left out and that the seniors who were getting them should be able to appreciate their success in high school. I was told that this was a conversation because of the sister schools that needed to be had between the 6 co-directors, and after they had their conversation, they came back another time saying that it wasn't an issue of equality or was an issue, they just wanted to keep the tradition. And I don't think that that is a good reason. I think that the seniors at SOTA should be able to wear honor cords. I think that other schools in the Tacoma School District are able to wear their cords at graduation. And I think that it is important for seniors at graduation to be able to represent their success, their accomplishments, their achievements, the clubs they're in. And I think that not allowing us to do that for reasons of equality, not making other people feel bad, reasons of tradition, especially coming from an art school, doesn't make any sense. And I would appreciate if something could be done about this on a district level.
I'll look into the issue, Mr.
Thank
President.
you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Next, we have Catherine Young, followed by Jalicia Santana.
Hello again. I'm Katie Young. I'm the president of the Special Ed PTA, and I came to speak to you a little bit about something that we've been researching a little bit. We have been involved with a situation with allegations against a teacher of abuse. I'm not going to share that information, but the concern that I have is that we don't have, or at least that I couldn't find, a policy in place that puts teachers, when a CPS claim is made against them, into an administrative leave. This specific situation was in a success classroom, our most vulnerable children, many of which are nonverbal and cannot report. I feel like, especially in this situation, when a CPS claim is made against a teacher, that teacher should be placed on administrative leave to protect the most vulnerable students in this district. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but I found lots of language around discipline, but not anything specific to CPS claims. And I feel like there is an extra level of validation when you're making a CPS claim versus just calling your principal to make a complaint. In this situation, the other thing that we found very disturbing was the teacher was given choices on her discipline, and that also, when upon requesting records, we found out that she was given the option that if she had good behavior, her record would be expunged after 18 months. We as a PTA and parents find this absolutely unacceptable. If a teacher has bad behavior, that needs to mark their record. If they change that behavior, great, but that should still follow them. That should follow them from school to school. That should follow them from district to district. I've seen the practice, not just in this district, but other districts, where bad teachers leave and go to other districts and cause more problems. So I really hope that you guys can look at this and take a no acceptance policy against teachers that are causing problems, and make sure that we are stamping their record so that they don't go on to do more harm in the future. Thank you.
Lastly, we have Jalicia Santana.
Hello everyone, my name is Jalicia Santana. I am a junior at SOTA, the School of the Arts, majoring in traditional art. Earlier this semester, I was offered a really good opportunity with a program called Beyond the Bell, where I teach elementary students at Bernie STEM. I got to teach them about art and science and, like all the fun things. I got so many new skills. I learned how to lead people who are younger than me. I learned patience, and I was just so grateful for the opportunity because I had never considered teaching before. And the best part of that is that I got to do it for a long period of time. I got to learn the students, and it was really nice. And I really hope that I can see this program carry on more into the future, because personally, I would love to do it again, but I'd love for other students to be able to experience what I did. So I hope you all will consider to keep it around, because I loved it so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening.
Well, thank you to all who came to comment tonight. We're going to move forward to agenda item number 10, which is the consent agenda.
I move to adopt.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments, questions, or concerns on that?
There's one comment. On item 10.1, approval of the minutes, it's not linked, at least in my, I know that sometimes what we see on our computers is not always the accurate ones, but I just noticed that the minutes are not linked in this agenda.
Okay, it'll be updated.
You can approve it pending the minutes being linked to the agenda.
Okay.
If you choose to.
I'd like to amend the motion to approve it.
Once the minutes are linked.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it passes. Agenda item number 11, policy matters. My agenda says there are none. Agenda item number 12, financial report. The district's financial report will be presented, and Roz is ready.
Well, good evening. I have prepared for you our initial legislative impacts, and I and the team, the collective we, my apologies to my team. Very rude of me to just assume that I've done it all. We got the Senate budget and the House budget Monday before last, and we've been working to understand the impacts of that, trying to make sure that we are following along with all the different changes that are happening at the legislative level. And so I wanted to share with you some of those impacts tonight. On the slide here, you'll see the governor's budget, the Senate budget, and the House budget, and the basic education impacts that we are expecting at this point in time. So the implicit price deflator has come in at 2.5%. And you'll notice that on the Senate and House budget, which those are the two that really make a difference at this point, while the governor has put out a budget, we really rely on what the Senate and the House are doing at this point in this time of year. So we just have the information there around the governor's budget, but probably not something that we even need to discuss moving forward. You'll notice that the implicit price deflator impacts are just slightly different based on how many staff that the different budgets are funding, but essentially right around $5 million roughly. Medical benefits, there's an increase in the per month medical rates that we would have to pay on behalf of our employees. And so there's a revenue that comes along with the funded staff. You'll notice down below that there's an expense that also goes along with both of those items. We fund more staff than what the legislature provides us for. And so we have increased costs for both the implicit price deflator and the medical benefits in order to cover the costs of those staff's benefits. Materials, supplies, and operating costs, we have a measly, I'm bringing my own opinion into it. We have a measly $3 million on the Senate side and $1.1 million on the House side. We do appreciate increases. It's nice to know that they are acknowledging and considering the expenses that we're seeing in our discretionary world for utilities and food and fuel and legal costs and insurance costs, which continue to climb and rise. Just like you're also seeing at the grocery store, things are expensive, gas is expensive. In your own personal budgets, that's something that we are also seeing at the school district level. And so it's nice to have an acknowledgement, but it doesn't cover the costs of the majority of our expenditure increases. Then you'll also see that there are some retirement reductions. So we'll lose revenue on the retirement changes. We'll also lose expenditures on the retirement changes. And what that looks like, we have different plans that different employees participate in. Different plans change by different percentages, so it's not across the board. But these are the rates that we will be submitting on behalf of our employees. And then different plans require us to participate as employees as well as what the employer puts into the retirement plans. This is just the portion that the employer is paying on behalf of the employees. So you'll see too that under the Senate budget, there's a considerably larger savings that comes along with that than under the House budget. That is because their rates that they are anticipating needing to be sent in on behalf of our employees is considerably lower. A couple years ago, we saw something like that, and it turned out to be an error on the Senate budget. But I don't foresee that necessarily being the case this time. It just seems that the actuarial that's anticipating how much needs to be contributed in order to have a fully funded pension plan has come up with different numbers on the Senate side than on the House side. And so we'll see how that plays out, but we would prefer to have the Senate budget's retirement aspects, assuming that that's an accurate number and not a mistake. And the actuarials that present those details usually will have factored in the fact that there won't be an impact to the plan that you receive. Like when you retire, it's not that we're cutting someone's retirement or pension. It's that what the state needs in order to fund the plans fully is being decreased. And then you'll see just a smidge of ALE increase based on what the legislature is changing. And so the two plans generate about $1.7 million for the House and $8.2 million in net revenues for the Senate budget. That is great news for us. It's not going to hurt us. However, we do have a $30 million shortfall, and so it doesn't really get us all the way to where we need to go, but it's also not preventing us from being able to continue funding.
These are not hard numbers for those that are watching at home. These are places of a conversation to start with. This is the negotiations just begin on both sides. What is unsettling is that the numbers are so far away from each other. And so if the numbers were closer, we could do some more deep planning, right? There would be more consistency, but with numbers so far away from each other, that means that both sides have to do more deep negotiating. So we don't have numbers to really plan from at this point, the middle of April. to know how much room do we really have. And as the political landscape continues to change and as we see headlines, these are also based off of significant revenue packages coming into the state. And if those revenue packages don't come into the state, these numbers dramatically change. And I know we can't believe everything that is read in every headline, but it's my understanding that there are 3 lines here, or columns. One of those columns does not support significant tax increases. So at this point, for all of us, we don't have solid information. All we know is we have a $30 million shortfall. It's very challenging in that space. So I know that, and that's no one's fault, right? I'm not blaming the House and the Senate. They have difficult jobs. They're working through this process. They can't go any faster than they can go. But I just want folks to know as they read these numbers, it's not solidified. It's a natural process that takes a lot of time and energy. But you can't read these numbers and say, well, you have $8 million coming to you. That's not true. You can't say that you have 1.7 million. That's not true. You can't say you have 24,000. We just don't know. What we know is they don't agree. And there's so much work to be done. And these are based on a significant increase in revenue that has not been determined yet. On top of that, we see massive changes in federal programming continuing to change every day. For example, offices like Head Start in our region were recently closed. So we don't know to date how that will impact approximately $7 million of our budget. We don't know. We've been told, just go ahead and send us an email and we'll continue to process. But we don't know how fast that will turn around. We don't know those implications. So as we share this with you, we're going to continue to share information that we have, but we're not saying this is the end of the information. So with that, Rosalind's going to share some more potential information.
One of the revenue packages, one of the revenue package components that Josh just mentioned, Dr. Garcia just mentioned, Josh, is a levy bill. This is something that I indicated to you last week when we had our meeting that we might potentially have some impacts from this. We weren't really sure what the impacts would be. As we've run the calculations, we currently have a voter-approved levy at $82 million, and we got that approved about 3.5 years ago. We go out for our next levy in February of 2026 as it stands right now. The levy package that they're putting forward in the the House Bill 2049 would allow us to collect potentially up to $100 million. However, in order to do that, because we already have a voter-approved levy at $82 million, we would have to have a ballot put out in August of this year and hope that that actually passed. And if it didn't, we would have to go back out in November. And in order to put a ballot on, put an initiative on the ballot, we would have to forego our $82 million levy. So we can only have one maintenance and operations levy at a time, right? I understand. This is the complication that we see. So we have investigated that we've done the analysis on that. It seems a little too risky, a little too shot in the dark for us to risk $82 million to try to achieve a $100 budget. However, it will impact us in the 25-26 budget and the 26-27 budget, assuming that the legislature actually passes the levy budget package that they put forward. So
there's a subtlety here. We can't do that. That is a hypothetical based on a bill that has not been passed yet. That is a bill that's floating. Okay? So we're not doing that because that's a hypothetical. That is a proposed idea. So we've explored a proposed idea. Once again, that is not something that's in law yet.
Correct.
So for folks at home saying, well, just take the risk. No, there's no risk to be taken because that has not been solidified yet.
And I think my understanding of the intent of this particular levy bill is to support, there are multiple districts that cannot get their voters to pass a levy. And is this I sort of had the understanding, and this may not be accurate, that this was an attempt to try and support some of those districts that can't pass levies. No, no. Okay.
This still requires you to pass a levy.
Mm-hmm.
The impetus of this bill, as it's written into their preamble in the bill, is that the growth of assessed value and the growth in the state has outstripped what districts have been picking up. The growth is only allowing like 1% growth, and we've seen growth outside of that. And so they feel that the local groups the local taxpayers are not picking up their fair share of the burden of taxes as it relates to school districts. And so it's written into the preamble of the bill. It's a cute little read. But that's the impetus of this bill. Beyond that, special education, I'll move on. Special education, there's some language in both the House and the Senate budgets as it relates to the special education program. There would be some major impacts if either one of these bills were to come to fruition, but I suspect, because if you look at the difference between what you see listed in the bills, somewhere between the House and the Senate, we probably will land. Hopefully we will land. However, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't even achieve the House budget as it relates to special education. This is just running the numbers based on what they have indicated in the packages. I'm really not sure what it's going to look like. There's also another bill that's rolling around as it relates to this special needs budgets. And so I think that this is just, hey, here's what these things mean right now. That I would not count on any of these dollars at this point.
It's very important, and as sad as this is for me to say, this is not meaning additional services. This is to backfill the services that we've had to cover locally.
Right.
This between the state and the federal funds that have not come. We've been spending anywhere from $5 to $7 million a year locally to support special education services for our students, which is obviously what we have to do. But it's supposed to be the state and the federal government to do this. And as a result of that, when folks, we want, they're all our kids, so we have to support this. But these dollars are not going to be able to afford us new opportunities. They're going to be able to help us fill the holes that we already have.
One of the other bills that has been brought up in the recent couple of weeks as it relates to the revenue package yet again is Senate Bill 5796, which is a payroll tax for large earners. The district would have to pay a certain percentage for our larger funded staff, and that approximate cost is about $1.5 million that we don't have as an expense currently. And so that would be a brand new tax that we would be paying. And, it's kind of fun because it's meant to actually be collected and funded for school districts according to what the language in the bill says. But they're going to tax us to pay us. So I'm just saying, it's a fun time. As I said before, the district is facing a $30 million shortfall. Legislative increases are appreciated, but we do fall short. We do have a number of impacts that we don't know about outside of what we don't know about as it relates to how these numbers will land. But that would be including bargaining and our federal implications. Indicated previously, the Head Start Region 10 closing puts us at a risk of not being able to get our grant passed. Our $7.4 million grant is due June 1st. They anticipate a seamless transition to other open offices, but I'm not sure what that looks like. And so that puts us in a position where we would have to make some decisions about how we fund and if we will be able to get those grant approvals timely. We're anticipating to adopt our budget July 10th, and so June 1st is getting into a time frame where it becomes very problematic for us to hold off on making decisions in order to get to a July 10th adoption. And we do have 3 open bargains currently, one including our largest employees, the teachers group. So that puts us at a risk as well, as we don't know what the end results of that will be. And finally, the legislature's sine die is April 27th. So hopefully in the next several weeks, we will start to hear more information about where we will likely land or what kind of negotiations are happening at the state level that give us a better indication of what we can rely on and what we can't. Although those conversations typically take place at the 11th hour as it relates to budgets. So I'm not overly hopeful that we'll have any information in advance of April 27th.
And if just so the public's aware, if they do not come to an agreement and a special session, which there is, who knows what, there's chatter. We'll just say that there's chatter about a potential special session, particularly with how the governor and the governor's budget and both the Senate and the House budgets are very much, they are very far apart from one another. And so could you just talk about what you would anticipate those impacts would be made for us if they go into a special session? And I know these are still hypothetical, but just so people understand if that were to happen.
I mean, I can speak to a few things. First and foremost, we may have to delay our adoption until August. We only have one board meeting in July, so that's manageable. But making decisions about our staffing is what's most critical. Teachers' contracts are required if we're going to do some kind of reduction in force, which we're not saying that that's what's being generated at this point in time. But if we were going to do a reduction in force, that decision has to be made by May 15th and communicated out to our teachers bargaining group as well as the teachers. And so we want to make sure that we had enough time in order to be able to do something like that. In past legislative cycles, I've seen it done both ways, where they've put in some language that extends the deadline, and I've seen it where they haven't put in the deadline. So I can't say for sure what the implications would be, but there may need to be some preemptive conversations if that were to come to fruition. But we're not in a position to make those decisions at this point.
Just in perspective-wise, when we come back from spring break, it'll be April 14th. We have been spending, I would say realistically, numerous hours each day running numerous scenarios to address the $30 million shortfall without any indication of what kind of relief we're going to get into that space. We will have to build capacity within the organization to address the 30 million shortfall without having all the answers before the legislative cycle is over with. And I'll leave it at that in that space. And so we will have to meet all of those deadlines and timelines, and then we'll adjust as the timelines get adjusted in that space. Director Keating and I spent some time in Olympia this week speaking with senior leadership down there, talking about the implications for Tacoma. President Strozier and Angel Morton and I've written letters. I've written letters to other legislators. You have your legislative agenda. It hasn't changed. Special education, MSOC, and transportation. The messages haven't changed.
And I would just add, Governor Ferguson did hold a press conference, I think it was Tuesday, talking about the budget and also talking about, he was pretty clear in his communication that he was not supportive of any new revenue. So all of these numbers above for revenue packages for both the House and the Senate, the governor has made it fairly clear that these are not things that he's open to a conversation, he said, but he does not believe that is a path that he would necessarily be willing to support. So I think that that's just additional context to all of this, and there are a lot of conversations to be had. The governor has been very clear that he believes they have a responsibility to pass a balanced budget as well, and his belief is that in order to do that, it's about reducing the budget as much as possible, which includes furloughing state employees in his proposed budget. So, it is a particularly concerning landscape. So that I don't know if the governor, I know that they're in and will continue to be regular conversations, but it is a little unsettling to see how far apart, like not just the House and Senate are, but where the governor between and the House and the Senate. So every day makes a difference in terms of progress. And so I know that the Senate and the House will have floor activity all beginning next week, all around these things. So there's a lot to pay attention to.
And I know these are difficult times for everyone. And I know that folks are going to come out and advocate. I just hope folks remember that, when they advocate to you and to others across the state is that you don't have all the information yet. And you have a responsibility to create capacity. You have to address the $30 million. We don't have fund balance. There's no hidden dollars. So I hope folks understand that it's very transparent. It's very public. You can see all of our budgets online in that space. I hope that we can understand that we will continue to use our guiding principles in that process. I hope that people can use their voice to continue to urge, and I'll say this, urge legislators to continue to try to prioritize the best they can their paramount duty, which is education. Paramount, the way I understand the terminology, is first and most important. And it doesn't mean that there are not other things that are important in this life, but in the Constitution, it's first and most important.
That's what I had for you this evening. Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate it, bro. We're going to jump into agenda item 13, which is curriculum instruction. There are no curriculum instruction items this evening. Agenda item number 14, business matters. 14.1, approval of bid acceptance between Apex Mechanical and Tacoma Public School District number 10 for the Ted Brown Phase 2 Air Handler Project.
The Chief Operating Officer, on behalf of the Executive Director of Planning and Construction, recommends that the Board of Directors accept the bid between Apex Mechanical and Tacoma School District number 10 in the amount of $691,000 excluding sales tax.
I move item 14.1.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Thanks. We have arrived at agenda item number 15, which is other business. There is no other business tonight. So agenda item number 16, board comments and reports. Anybody can start.
I'll start. Just a reminder for the public that spring break is coming up. I always find this to be really important to remind folks. As a former chair of a neighborhood council, you might be in those spaces and you might be saying, wow, oh my God, these kids are wandering my neighborhood. What is going on here? And I just want to reiterate from the dais, they're on spring break and they live in your community. So that's what's going on there. I'll just also say, as a former Head Start assistant teacher, ECAP teacher, living in that preschool bubble, hearing that there are federal impacts that are going to impact our most vulnerable students, it's really disheartening. And I think that from the best position that I can be in, all I can do is continue to advocate for those who need my advocacy. And I think that's really important, that if you're a family and you're feeling impacted by these things, that you advocate as well. If you don't know how, you can email us and we'll probably point you in the right direction, or you can email your legislator, you can email your senator. If you don't feel like your voice is being heard enough, you can go down there. It's the people's house. Walk inside of those halls and tell them, I want to see somebody. And the pages are really nice. They're also teenage children, so please be kind to them when you're asking for help and support in traversing those halls. I think it's just really difficult sometimes because the role of a school board director is nonpartisan. But there's nothing nonpartisan happening right now. As a school board director, I think it's really, you have to be clear in your standards and your values and your morals. And I just want to say that I personally believe in every student every day. I know my colleagues do as well. And so it doesn't really matter what side of the aisle I fall on, but it matters that I'm going to stand up for all of our students and advocate for all of them. I've just been having a really It's not a difficult time, but I've been having a more intentional time speaking with those folks in community who want to hear from me and want to know, well, what is your ideas on this? And when I run into people in the stores and I know your face from somewhere, I'm like, please, God, don't recognize me from here. And that is always where they recognize me from. And then they have questions. And my answer is really, my job is to advocate for all of our students. I think that it's really important that I continue to stand in those values. I'm so proud. I always say thank you to my board colleagues and to the staff and to CAB, the teachers, the principals, our students as well. Thank you all for being the best advocates you can be. Thank you for using your voices. Thank you for elevating issues, because if we're not all on the same page pushing forward, then we can fall behind too. So I think as a district, we're doing, everyone at every level is advocating the best that they can. So I'm really appreciative to be a part of that forward motion.
Well, I can go next. All I want to say is also speak about advocacy. And it's not just the Head Start and a team that got cut. All regional staff got cut from regions 1, 2, 5, 9, and 10. That's Boston, New York, Chicago, San Francisco, and Seattle. The rest of the country didn't lose their staff for the region, for Child Care Bureau and for the Head Start Bureau. So this is really going to impact our state significantly. And we have a child care system that was decimated by COVID and by a lack of funding, and we've been building it back up slowly. And now, just like Head Start, there's nobody at the other end of the phone for child care as well. So just want, or for Indian Ed, or for child welfare, or, public health. So all of those positions have been eliminated. And so this is a time to advocate and to reach out to the federal level and basically let the president know, let your senators know, let your congresspeople know this is not acceptable, and that Washingtonians are not going to stand for it. So please, this is a moment to speak up and be active. These are our kids we're talking about.
So many feelings. I absolutely echo what Vice President McElroy said and Director Bombright said. I think what is really challenging, and I appreciate Vice President McElroy's comments about nonpartisanship, because we are a nonpartisan board. There are direct targeting happening at the federal level to the most impacted in our country, in every community, everywhere. And I guess this may come off as partisan. I want to say that it has been really challenging for several months to have many of our congressional leaders, particularly in the minority party, tell us there's nothing we can do, we're in the minority, we can't do anything, we can't help you, I'm sorry, we'll have to wait until the next election cycle. And it's like, how is that even an answer? Because we don't have that opportunity. We are not afforded the ability to say, we're going to handle that later. Sorry, y'all, we can't do anything now. That is not our responsibility. We each swore an oath to uphold the Washington State Constitution and the U.S. Constitution. So I find it particularly offensive when we have other electeds in different positions who have far more influence, in my opinion, who say, I can't do anything. Sorry, we'll just have to wait. I find that personally offensive because we can't afford that. Our kids can't afford that. Our families can't afford that. Our community can't afford that. And I will say that watching Senator Cory Booker do something, and I watched a lot of his speech and his filibuster, and he made it really clear that it wasn't about a party. It wasn't about a partisanship. It was about serving in the roles and the responsibilities that they are elected to do. it was honestly a relief. There were a lot of moments of inspiration, but I finally felt a sense of relief that we're not necessarily drowning on our own out here. So I'm hopeful that we will see more, even if you can't do the main thing, there are always things that we can do. There are always ways we can speak up. There are always ways that we can figure out better ways to solve issues and try and solve issues. And so I'm hopeful that we will see more action, tangible action that leads to trying to figure out what are we supposed to do if we don't have the federal resources, and when these agencies, I mean, I think about the CDC and where on earth would we have been during the pandemic without the CDC? Like, I mean, it is like kind of like makes me feel a little like hyperventilating. The impacts, like we just are not, we haven't even begun to see the impacts of the decisions that are being made to agencies that we rely on, that people don't traditionally think. They think it's just the Department of Education. It's not just the Department of Education. So CDC, Health and Human Services, EPA, like there are a number of different agencies that we do rely on and interact with as a system, locally, state, and nationally. So if the energy feels heavy, it's because we're in a really uncharted moment. So I'm grateful that we are doing this work together. I'm grateful for the superintendent and his team, and I know that there isn't a moment where these issues aren't trying to be addressed. So it's gonna, I mean, I remember, 5 years ago, right? 5 years ago, we were already in the shutdown. And I remember like being new to this work and Elizabeth and I going, what, oh my gosh, I don't even, like, where do you even start? And I'm feeling so many similar parallels to having no idea where this is gonna go, but knowing that it's not, it's gonna be a long, difficult, unsettling period of time. And so I will repeat and echo what my colleagues have already shared. Reach out to your congressional leaders. It does make a difference. And they sometimes listen to voices outside of those of us here. And I would say that's true in Olympia too. They don't always listen to board directors. They don't always, right? So they don't necessarily take our advocacy and issues and concerns to the same level. We sometimes are white noise in some situations. So I think it's really important that those of us that are elected to serve and do the work that we're elected to do, that people hear, that we hear from those that we are serving, and just know like there isn't a time where we're not constantly working on this and trying to figure it out and stay informed, and then help keep you all and those in the public as informed as possible. So.
Thank you. To our student reps, thank y'all for your reports earlier. To my colleagues here at the board, thank you for your work and your words this evening. Superintendent, on agenda item 7.1, I moved rather quickly. I don't know if you had anything additional that you want to add before I get us up out of here, but I did skip past you. I want to pass it back to you if you got something.
I just want to say happy spring break to everyone. I hope you stay safe, healthy. I hope there's some sunshine for everyone. I hope everyone gets a chance to unplug. I've encouraged staff to. If you are a community member trying to reach a staff member, please give them a little patience. I'm trying to encourage folks to get their brains to heal a little bit before we get that last push. If you're a student with a missing assignment, please try to complete that missing assignment before. If you're a senior, you're not done yet, hang in there. Mr. President Strozier will give you that speech when he gets back, the typical senior speech that you're not done. I want to thank President Strozier. Did a phenomenal job representing the district last Friday with the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. Thank you so much for that. I think that's it. Thank you.
Good. Well, I don't have a comment either. So agenda item 17 is the announcement of next regular board meetings. April 24th, 2025, we're here at 6 p.m. for a business meeting. May 8th, 6 p.m., we are here. That's your birthday, ain't it?
It is definitely my birthday.
Happy birthday. We have a meeting on your birthday at 6 p.m. My birthday is May 9th. We don't have a meeting because that's a Friday. May 15th, 2025, 6 p.m., we have a study session here. So agenda item 18, we are adjourned. Thank you.